Welcome to the France 24 Observers. This show is based on our network of observers, ordinary people who tell us what's going on where they are and send in photos and videos to document it. We verify it all here in Paris and bring the best to you. The Syrian army, with its tanks, planes, and helicopters, is much better equipped than the rebels it's fighting. The rebel army is finding it difficult to smuggle in enough arms from outside the country. However, it has a new tactic. The rebels have learned to make weapons themselves. These may be rudimentary, but according to one of our observers, they get the job done. Abu Khaled al-Homzi tells us how.
The Free Syrian Army started to make weapons when we realized we had to transition from light weapons like AK-47s and rocket-propelled grenades to medium-grade weapons, that is, weapons that can cause more damage, like mortars and explosives. They're built in uninhabited places by local artisans. The process is supervised by soldiers who deserted the regular army and so who have experience dealing with explosive substances. The most sophisticated weapons we have managed to make are very powerful rocket launchers that resemble BM-21s. They have a range of 5 to 7 kilometers. Nearly half of the weapons used by the Free Syrian Army are homemade. We depend heavily on the weapons we make. Just one explosive can destroy a tank. We've also managed to armor some of our trucks. This is very useful during our operations. We mostly use these armored vehicles to launch attacks, but we also use them to transport our fighters in neighborhoods where we know there are snipers. We publish instructional videos on the internet that show how to make homemade weapons, because fighters aren't always able to contact each other, which makes training difficult. We're sorely lacking help from outside of Syria. Most of the people who help us make weapons are lay people with special skills and army deserters. We're really counting on the system to help us succeed.
In the space of just 10 days, 3 separate cultural events were interrupted by Islamist extremists in Tunisia, some quite violently. Our observer was attacked just before the start of an evening dedicated to the arts in the northwestern city of Bizerte. A group of Salafists, who belong to a movement within Sunni Islam, were protesting the event. They were angry about the presence of a member of the Palestine Liberation Front, whom they accused of being part of a Shiite militant group, Hezbollah, based in Lebanon. Our observer Imad Sfaxi tells us how the evening was spoiled by these extremists.
The festivities were supposed to begin at 10 p.m, but one of the members of my volunteer organization called me before that to tell me that there was a problem at the venue. There were tons of people there. Salafists, to be more precise. As soon as I got out of the car, a man came up to me and asked, "Are you Shiite?" Several men gathered around me, and one of them took out a tear gas canister and sprayed it directly into my eyes. When I got to the hospital, I saw what these people really were capable of. One of the injured had to get 17 stitches on his forehead. To me, forcibly shutting down a cultural event for religious or political reasons is completely unacceptable. That same day, August 16, there was another clash between Sunni and Shiites in the city of Gebez. To these extremists, Shiites shouldn't be allowed in Tunisia.
Police say the incident in Bizerte, where our observer was attacked, involved about 200 people linked to the Salafist movement. 5 of the assailants were arrested. Now, on to the best images sent in this week from around the world by our observers. We first head to the city of Goma in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The city has been virtually cut off from the rest of the country by rebels from an armed group called the M23. For now, the Congolese army has been able to keep the rebels away from Goma, but our observer, Charlie Kasekara, tells us the city's economy is suffering terribly from the situation. Indeed, the rebels are imposing huge taxes on the trucks that bring food to the city, causing prices to soar. Basic food staples like green beans have doubled in price. Our observer is afraid that Goma's residents may soon go hungry. Now, on to Senegal. Like every year, the capital has been hit by severe floods. On August 14th, heavy rains hit Dakar, killing 7 people and causing widespread damage. Several of the city's suburbs were completely submerged. In these photos, a resident of the neighborhood of West Foire is forced to swim down the street. Lastly, we head to New York City, where a church has taken to buying people's guns to try to curb crime in Queens. In August, the New Jerusalem Baptist Church held a buyback event where it paid up to $200 for various firearms. No questions asked. The church then turned them over to the New York City Police Department. The police said the church gave them 509 firearms, including an AK-47. That's it for this week, but as always, you can find more reports from our observers on our website, on our Twitter and Facebook pages, and on our iPhone app. See you next time.